It's war and peace is more than beef. Must oppose the code we swore to keep. It's life and death, it's blood and sweat. We fight for love and respect. It's man to man, it's hand to hand. You make your fist, you take your stand. Prepared to throw down whenever it go down. Under pressure, don't fold, man, hold your ground. You got your pride and I got mine. It's all out war when you cross that line. Yeah. I'm from LA, I grew up fighting. After school, no rules, class.
Good morning. What's up, sports world? It's so nice to see you. Welcome to round 6 of the World of Sports with the Cheetah. It's your girl, Fredia Cheetah Gibbs, 3-time world champion kickboxer known as MDWW. Wow! My special guest today, actually my topic today is about it takes a legend to create a legend. So my special guest today is a martial arts star, martial art legend, and also he's in the martial arts museum. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the one and only Bob Wall.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled.
Okay, Bob, so welcome to the studio. We're glad that you're here. How are you today?
I am proud and honored to be with the Cheetah again.
Well, thank you so very much. I'm honored. You know, actually, this is a dream come true. I'll never forget when I was a kid watching you, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, you know, do your action, your karate on TV, and to actually have you here today is truly an honor. We want to know who you are. We want to know about your childhood, you know, where you're from, what got you into martial arts. We just want to know. The world wants to know. Would you share that with us?
That'd be my pleasure. Yeah, I've been blessed, actually, my whole life. I have the greatest wife, greatest daughters. I've had the greatest life. I have the greatest partners. Got to be blessed with the great Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, my partner for over 50 years. But it all started when I was a kid, and I was a little skinny kid. I was like 5 feet tall when I was 13, 93 pounds in an era of 98-pound weaklings, and got my ass kicked repeatedly. In fact, I don't think I ever won a fight. And at 13, finally had this biggest guy in school. We were at a little country school, and he made a mistake, and he came over and wrecked my bike and beat me up again. And I went nuts. And so he went in the bathroom, and I picked up a brick, and he walked out, and goodbye face. I made up my mind right then, nobody's ever going to beat me up again. And he was out of school for about 6 months, and I don't think he ever returned, but he had to have cheekbones, eye, teeth, and stuff. And I took the bloody brick around to everybody in school, and I said, beat me up at your peril, but I'll kill you. I'll shoot you, I'll stab you, I'll rock you, I'll bat you, I'll jump off of a roof with a rock in my lap. Nobody's going to beat me up again. And so, and I had a father that stuck hay hooks in my arm.
Hey, who?
Screwdriver through my hand. And
For
this
what?
is my 12th birthday present from my alcoholic father. That was called hammer in face.
Wow.
And you feel that?
Yeah, I feel that.
So at 13, I decided I'm going to either kill my dad or I'm going to leave. So for me, it was my version of a ghetto kid. I got the hell out of ghetto.
Gotcha.
I got on my bike, balloon-tired bike, wired a flashlight to it, left with $1.38, rode 162 miles to one of my other drunk uncles. And he didn't know when I got there, and he didn't know when I graduated from high school 5 years later. But I went to work washing cars, and by the time I'm 25, I'm worth $2 million because I'm a money machine.
That's right.
I was a racer and spent all that wasted time hating my dad. And then one day about 20, I said, you know what? Thanks, Dad, because the one thing he gave me was during all these beatings and hay hooks and screwdrivers was I wouldn't cry.
Wow.
You can't show me. I don't care who you are. You can't give me enough pain. I will not show you. I respect you. A BAB like you, you know what a BAB is?
What's a BAB?
A badass bitch.
Yeah.
I love badass bitches. I married one. I married 47 years. I'm still in love. What? because a badass bitch can hit the ball at you as hard as you can hit it back and probably harder. Badass bitch is as smart as you and probably smarter. And, if you're stupid, you need to marry stupid. If you're smart, you need to marry smart. If you're tough, you need to marry tough. I needed tough, and I needed smart. So I married the greatest woman on earth. I'm married 47 years. I'm still in love because I chose a BAB.
Gotcha.
You're a BAB. Some lucky partner, and it really doesn't matter, but you find a lucky partner that's equally BAB and that appreciates who you are, and we need strong women. We just need strong people. But we definitely need strong women. Women are oppressed all over the earth, but not in America in the same way. You understand? So I became a lover of women like you. And one of the reasons I'm here, because of my admiration for you, because of who you are as a woman, as a person, as a martial artist, and particularly as a woman of color. You understand?
Thank
so
you.
My reality is that my road, I learned to not be angry at circumstance, my father, and so on and so forth. I realized finally he was sick. He didn't mean to do it. Mentally ill people really can't really control what they do. So I learned to appreciate the negativity.
You embraced
I said,
it.
I embrace it.
Right.
I fell in love with it. So I got heavily into martial arts. I started racing. I won the world championships, Corvette drag racing. Nobody's ever broken the record. 112, 1259, a 57 fuel-injected Corvette. But I started falling in love. I started wrestling. Then I got a black belt in judo, and then I moved to L.A. and became Gene LaBelle's fifth black belt in 1959, way before anybody in this room was born. And he said, go train in everything. So I boxed. And I got these freaky long arms.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
they
you
are
got to be
pretty long.
6'6" to have arms like I do.
They pretty long. What's your reach?
I have no clue, but I know it reaches anybody I don't like. When I slap them, shoes here, they're over there. So I fell in love with martial arts because it gave me, I looked at my skills and my lack of skills and so on and so forth, but I realized I got freaky long arms and I'm a farm boy. I got tendons. I snatch them, mother. I remember snatching Muhammad Ali, whom I love and adore. But I'm going, oh my God, this guy's big, but he's not strong like me.
Right.
And he said, you want to box? I said, no.
Right.
Do I look stupid? Does it say stupid? No. I'll kick you and sweep you and do my stuff. And I love Muhammad Ali, but the fact is, I realized then, I said, my God, this guy's the most amazing, in my opinion, heavyweight boxer of all time. But he doesn't have my skill set. And so I got to focus on my skill set.
Right.
And that's what I did. And so then I got blessed from then on because I got to be partners with the great Chuck Norris for over 50 years. I'm married 47 years and still in love. I'm dated her almost 5 years. I'm just lucky.
Yeah.
I meet the great late Bruce Lee. I get to train with him for 11 years. And people say, well, he trained you, didn't I? I said, well, I think it says world professional champion after my name. But you might look up Bruce. I love him, but I don't see any other kung fu guys doing hook and heel kicks, side kicks, spinning back kicks, and all the stuff he beat my ass with. People say, well, how come you were in all of his movies? Well, I think because I let every bad mother I could ever find, man or woman, punch me or kick me. I always tell them, hit me in the teeth or the nose, I'll hit you back. Trust me, you won't like it.
Right.
But other than that, kick me in the balls, kick me anywhere you want, punch me, hook me, left hook, the kidney, do whatever you want to do, boom-bitty-bing. I do demos. I'll got size 16 cowboy boots in my car now. I'll put them on the biggest mother I can find. You can jump up and stomp me on the ground. You can't hurt me. Why? Gift my father gave me. Because I became a little of a sadist, a little bit of a psycho. But you're not going to hurt me.
That's right.
I'm not going to share with you. So I go down this blessed road of martial arts. And then my other blessing was my great mother, who was a Christian mother, who said, Bobby, you never go wrong doing the right thing, and you never go right doing the wrong thing.
That's correct.
Just do the right thing. And be kind to people. And so I just got blessed. So you have to take a look at your negatives, and then you get your positives.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I took advantage of those.
It's my understanding you starred in 3 of Bruce Lee's movies.
Yes.
You and Chuck Norris. Let's take a look at that movie, LaRon. Let's see what we have. You want to show that, with us talking? Yeah, that's it right there. What year was that?
Well, Way of the Dragon we filmed it in 1972, partly in Rome, partly in Hong Kong.
Can we hear some of the his music? The Frank Sinatra following that? Yeah. As the background, please. That would be good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at that there. Let's see. I'll never forget that. I remember that. This is wild. I remember that when I was a kid. It's like the famous movie. This is what movie? You said this is
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon?
Okay.
Okay.
It's so much fun to do this because Bruce and I loved each other. We were like brothers.
Right.
And I remember...
You want to play the music? Okay, got it.
I remember clearly, Bruce called me, and I was making $10,000 to $12,000 a week. My real estate company, 72. He said this part pays $500 a week, and I get off the phone, and my wife says, "You're going to Hong Kong for $500 a week for 3 months, and it kind of costs us a lot of money." Well, babe, God's been good. The house is paid for.
Right.
He's my first close Chinese friend, and he's 1/8 German. So he got harassed for being a minority, if you will. Same as Chuck Norris, half Indian. And minorities have a different perspective on life. And so 99% of my friends have some minority in them.
Right. What's when you say that they have a different perspective, how do you mean that?
I mean that nobody likes prejudice. And there's no cure for stupid. But the reality is once you've been abused just because you're God's gift to you, my mom used to tell me, I want you to hate anybody that chose their parents. And I said, Mom, I'm 7. You can't choose your parents.
Right.
That's right, son.
That's right.
So nobody chooses their parents. So understanding that, then I started to appreciate the minority experience, if you will. Thank you. And my experience was, I'm 15. I'm a wrestler. And I was in San Jose, California, Northern California, and I would drive every weekend up to San Francisco. And I'd looking for Kung Fu school, because in those you couldn't find judo, you couldn't find anything but wrestling and Kung Fu. I get up there, 15 schools I found, him no here, him gone. Years later, I'm teaching Bruce Lee, and I'm working with Bruce, and he goes, well, you get to know what black people in America, minorities of color. He said, they didn't like you because you weren't Chinese. So they wouldn't teach you because Chinese only taught Chinese. So I discovered in the 50s, martial arts was very racist.
Right.
Okay, very racist. Chinese only taught Chinese and so on. Why they didn't like Bruce Lee. 1/8 German, a Eurasian. First student was black. Best friend was Japanese. Oh, you didn't do that. He didn't care. Why? Because of his minority experience. And so I got connected. Most of my friends have that experience in some way, shape, or form. But when you're white in America, you don't get the same experience as a Mexican or a black or a Japanese, an Asian, whatever.
Wow.
But you get a different perspective. It comes a little slower, but the reality is that I don't like prejudice. I don't like any kind of it. My mom used to say it's prejudge. Why would you prejudge anybody?
Right.
So, and again, a blessing. I fell in love with music. Now, this is brand new groups way before your time.
Yeah.
Sugar Pie, Pee Wee, Little Richard back in the 50s. I'm going up to the Fillmore Auditorium in San Francisco because I'm loving the music. Now, at that point, I finally got to 5'7", 130 pounds when I graduated. But I'm dating Marilyn Monroe's. I'm a serious whore.
You've dated who?
Marilyn Monroe type girls.
Okay, got you.
The blondes, big boobs.
Right.
I always dated tall blondes with big boobs. I marry a short brunette with big boobs. I don't know what the connection is. There must be some connection. I'll figure it out someday. But anyway, so I would always talk to my dance partners, and I'd say, look, we're going to Fillmore Auditorium. We'll be the only 2 white people you will see at the Fillmore Auditorium. Trust me, in the 50s. But I said, I love the music. And I said, so the brothers are going to want to dance with you, and I'm going to use you as trade goods. And are you cool with that? Yep. Boom, bitty, bing, and bob. And they'd come over to me, and the brothers would say, they didn't allow any booze in the Fillmore Auditorium in those days. They had Coke cups. But they'd come over with whiskey. I didn't drink until I was 23. Oh, yeah, real good. Can we dance with your lady? And what am I to do, stand here and play with myself?
Right.
Bring me some trade goods, and don't make them ugly. Don't make them fat. Bring me some gorgeous sisters. Now, I'm laughing today because I was 15, 16, 17. You can imagine these gorgeous sisters, and the brother goes over and says, you got to dance with a little white boy. And they're going, oh, my God. So I learned to dance.
But you learned how to dance.
I learned to dance for the sisters.
That's the most important thing. You learn how to dance.
And then we started being family because I went up there for like 5 years, almost every weekend. And so we're eating together. And then wow, their soul food's my soul food. So my folks from Oklahoma and Texas and Louisiana, right? So it was just a cool-ass experience. And people years later would say, you went to Fillmore Auditorium? You're the only white person you ever saw except your girlfriends, and you didn't get killed? And I said, no. And they said, why not? And I said, how about no attitude?
Yeah, that's it. No attitude,
Huh?
You want to show us 3 with Bruce Lee? Okay. Yeah. Now check this here out, Bob. I saw this here. It says speed like lightweight, hit like a heavyweight. Karate champion Bob Wall on Bruce Lee. What's that about right there? Did you guys practice that? I mean, you trained him, what, 11 years, Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I say that, I have to back up and tell you this. Bruce Lee taught me as much or more than I ever taught him.
Well, we all learn from each other.
That's the point. You understand with training partners.
Right.
Okay? But I did have a skill set he didn't have. Mm-hmm. He had many skill sets I didn't have. Break the string line and on and on and on and on and on. Hands, unbelievable. But I believed then that speed was not hand speed or foot speed. And Bruce and I used to discuss it. And the point there was, we believe that real speed is bridging the gap. If I got to get from here to LeBron, it's not about how fast I am, it's how fast I get to him.
That's right.
It's footwork. And go back to Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, and all Jack Dempsey. They all had ability, bridging the gap speed. Mm-hmm. And so I don't care how fast you are. If you can't hit me, it's useless. I don't care how strong you are. If you can't hit me, it's useless. Mm-hmm. It's ability, what I call effective power.
Yeah.
That's effective. This is ineffective.
I felt that.
Yeah. So my bottom line was with him was that we discussed speed is ability to bridge the gap. And then if you're light, what Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali say, sting like a butterfly.
Fight like a bee, or fight like a butterfly, sting like a bee?
Sting like a bee.
Is that how it goes?
I'm so fast that when I hit the light, I'm in bed before the light goes out.
Uh-huh. That's Ali. That's Ali.
Ali. So the reality is he realized, and Ali was one of the geniuses, and I always say one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, because of his ability to not get hit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tried to tell Bruce. I said, Bruce, look at my hands, and then look at my face.
Right.
Trust me, original teeth, nose, eyes. You'll have a hard time hitting me, brother, because I don't want to get hit.
Right.
I want to hit you.
Right.
I'm like Patton. I want to make you die for your country, but I don't need to prove macho shit.
Right.
Yeah, I can take a good hit. But so with Bruce, he hit like a heavyweight. He scared the heck out of people. Oh, yeah.
Was he really bad?
Oh, he was.
Who was the fastest between you and Bruce?
Well, we discussed that many times.
And Chuck Norris.
I believe in the top 10 or 20 boxers, martial artists, the hand speed's the same. Mm-hmm. Virtually, not identifiable. But the reality is your ability to bridge the gap and make effective contact. And that's what we focused on was, I say fast. Well, who's fast? How fast was that? And I'm 77, so, I've slowed way down. The reality is that speed is ability is really more important.
It is.
That you hit the target.
Yeah.
And Muhammad proved it with often hitting, and Bruce proved it with often hitting. And he had the attitude. Fighters have to have an attitude. They have to have an ability to walk through pain. Mm-hmm. Fredia, you're a great world champion. Mm-hmm. You boxed. You did martial arts. You were a world champion. You don't not get hit by other great fighters. You must deal with that pain.
That's right.
Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You know what? I wanted to ask you this question. Looking at some photos, you brought some photos. Why don't you share these beautiful photos with us? Let's start with the chick right here. Who's that right there? Is that the wife?
That's my youngest daughter. My eldest daughter, actually. It's a stretch machine I invented.
Turn it.
And it folds up and goes in a closet. And it's the only stretch machine on earth that works because it gives you resistance. If you push your hand out and push me, it does resistance.
Right.
So it makes you relax. Mm-hmm. And all the other stretch machines are for stretching, which makes you tense.
Got you.
You don't do anything, make love or fight. Mm-hmm. If you're stiff and tight, you got to be relaxed.
Yeah.
You got to chill.
Yeah.
And let things happen, feel things. You understand? So that's what that machine does. It's amazing.
Well, the body's designed to move anyway. And how about these beautiful, famous? These are famous photos right here.
Well, that particular picture is of Bruce and Chuck and I in the Coliseum, which I got us into. It was closed up. And there's lucky who you marry. I married a Sicilian. And at my wedding, there were a lot of crooked noses. Mm-hmm. And my father-in-law said, they're going to want you to collect for them. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't. I stayed away. We were married in 68 and 72. We're in Rome, and Bruce says, oh, man, my dream is to have this fight with Chuck and you and me in the Coliseum. But it's closed for health reasons. So I pick up the phone. I call my wife, and I say, who do we know in Sicilian over here that maybe can help us out? Mm-hmm. She calls me back, gives me a couple numbers. I call Sicily, which is way away from Rome. They drive in, 3 crooked noses, come up, have a meeting with Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and I, and they say, they wanted a figure. Let's just call it $50,000. Right. And Bruce says, oh, man, I can't afford it. The whole budget for the whole movie is $250,000. And so they leave. So I walk down to them. My uncle, my wife's uncle, Jack DeSimone, was a pretty interesting guy.
Right.
And so I went down. I said, guys, I said, my wife is Lillian DeSimone, and Jack is her uncle. Is there anything you could do for me? Because I love this little Chinaman, but he just doesn't have the money. So they have a little discussion. Then they come back, and they give me a figure way lower. So I run upstairs to Chuck and Bruce, and I give them this new figure, and Bruce goes, yes! So they said, we want cash.
What was the figure? Can you play some action while we're discussing this, please? Thank
The
you.
figure was 15,000 from 50, and so we rushed to the bank with Bruce and Chuck and the Crooked Noses, got them the 15 grand, and that Coliseum had been closed for years. Was open the next morning at 7 a.m. and we were
Bingo.
filming.
That's what I'm talking about. That's all you got to do.
That's where that picture was
That's
taken.
all you got to do is ask, right?
That's it.
And let's see here. We have this photo right here. What's that right there?
Well, that kid on the left is my son. That's Howard Jackson, now the late Howard Jackson, but a phenomenal martial artist. He was a world welterweight kickboxing champion. I loved him to death.
Wait a moment. That's your son right there?
That's Howard Jackson.
That's your kid? Yeah?
Yeah.
I
well,
didn't know that.
I claimed him.
Well,
I'm not sure anybody could prove I sired him.
Right.
But I still claimed him.
Gotcha.
Well, I was the first person to donate blood. He died of cancer. And I said, Howard, if your eyes turn blue, you're mine. I've been saying it for years. But that's Howard and
What year was
Chuck
that?
Norris and I. That was about probably 10 years ago, I would guess.
Okay. And let's see here. I see another awesome photo right here. What's that one about?
That's the incomparable, great Carlos Ray Norris, a.k.a. Chuck Norris. And he and I in front of our school, that was my school in Sherman Oaks, and he had a school in Redondo Beach, and we became partners and ultimately turned those two into 182 schools. But that's
awesome. 182. That's awesome.
Back in the
How many
60s.
do you have today? You guys have
we
today?
sold them all. When Chuck got a call from Bruce in '72 to do a movie called Way of the Dragon, and once he did the movie, he decided he wanted to be an actor. So we spent the next few years selling off to schools.
Oh, wow. Check this here out now. This guy looks familiar. Who's that guy right there?
One of my students, Elvis Presley.
Ding, ding, ding.
His wife, Priscilla, is one of my red belts, so one of Chuck's of my red belts.
So Elvis Presley, knew how to do martial arts?
Elvis, in my opinion, was one of the great entertainers, one of the great singers. I loved him to death.
Facebook, man.
But yeah, he had a real passion for the martial arts.
Thanks.
And so that was at one of our training camps.
Okay. All right, and we got here. All right, whoa, there we go right there.
That's the incomparable Wesley Snipes, my dear friend. Another great martial artist.
Right.
Funny thing, he's a black belt of Steve Sanders Muhammad. And he's a serious great
Wesley
martial artist.
Snipes?
Wesley Snipes is a 5th degree of Steve Sanders Muhammad.
So he really knows martial arts. That's not acting.
Oh, no. He's a serious martial artist. He's nobody. You don't want to try to pick his pocket unless you want to lose your hand.
I believe you, too. I definitely believe you. And there's another one you brought here. Okay, and this guy looks familiar.
That
Here you
David
go.
Crepes is
1 second.
tough Hawaiian Mexican.
Yeah.
You know him because he trained you for your world title fight. That's me he let me choke him a little bit.
Right. Okay. David, how old is this picture right here? Where was this at?
Back in
Should have a date on it.
back in 2000.
Okay, and then last but not least, is this
That's
Bob
another-
Wall and Elvis Presley?
That's another Elvis and Bob Wall.
Huh? That's it right there? That's better. Yeah, there you go right there. Bring it up a little more, champ. Let's see it. You got to slant it. There you go. Perfect. Like that. Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Another amazing man. What a great entertainer. What a great singer. And
Okay.
he loved martial arts.
Okay, and I see something here. That's you.
That
Here we
would
go,
be
Ed.
me.
Take that.
That was me at 72, back in the old days.
That is all. So listen, I saw Chuck Norris with that. Is that the same machine that Chuck Norris
Yep.
is using in advertising right now?
Yeah, well, there's two machines. This is the stretch machine. He also does another machine called Total Gym. And the one you see more often is Total Gym. But this is our stretch machine.
And is that still here? Still
Oh, yeah.
around? It
Oh,
is?
yeah. We still sell a bunch of them.
Okay, great.
Because they
great.
actually work.
David, have you tried them yet? You have? Yeah, I definitely like
You know
to
how
try
we
them.
men love everything that ends in K?
What's the NK?
Well, it starts with work.
Huh?
Ends with something else.
What is that? You're laughing, David. What's that? Huh?
Cat?
Talk.
Doc?
Some of them start with F. I don't know.
I hear you. You know what I wanted to ask you? A lot of people think that, being a martial artist, that we are violent people, okay? Would you stress I mean, just from in your experience, you were bullied a lot. I know I was bullied a lot.
Of course.
You know, certainly when not people start things. But, you know, what is your take on martial arts and it being violent?
Well, I believe that every school, Chuck Norris is doing it now in Texas with thousands of kids. He makes it an elective and teaches martial arts. I wish martial arts was taught in every school in America because the truth is it's a weird weaning out process. Very few people on the planet will become a Fredia Gibbs or a David Crapes or a Chuck Norris or a Bruce Lee because you got to
Bob Wall.
You got to pay a lot of dues, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of agony, a lot of laying in the bed going, "Oh my God, this hurts and that hurts and this hurts and I don't know if I can live to the night."
I know.
But so clowns won't do that. Therefore, only really good people become great martial artists. And the reality is that you become skilled enough that you are much more peaceful. Francois Finlay said, a person at peace with himself is at peace with their fellow man. So to answer your question, we're the opposite of violent. We want to avoid violence. I mean, I do everything I let little weasels live every day. And Chuck Norris has never been in a street fight. He hates that. But he finds a way peacefully through what we need much more in this country, which we're not getting from Trump and Clinton, which is civil discourse. We need, Dave and I discussed coming over here today, most people don't want to talk about politics or religion because some people on one side or the other hate you. That's wrong. We shouldn't hate each other because if you and I agree on everything, one of us is unnecessary, and I don't want it to be me.
That's right.
We need civil discourse. We need to be respectful, listen. And I'll give you a perfect example. My attorney, a nice Jewish man named David Glickman, been my attorney 52 years. 52 years ago, he was just to the left of Lynn, and I was just to the right of Attila the Hun. Because of civil discourse, now I don't have a party. I'm liberal socially, and I'm fiscally conservative, and I can't vote for either candidate. I have to vote against one of them. And you can bet which one it is, and it's the criminal. Bottom line is that we still need civil discourse. If LeBron and I disagree, we should be able to civilly discourse it because what happens? In 52 years, Dave Glickman and I have both become moderates to the center, and we're both socially liberal, but we're fiscally conservative because reality says we need to discuss it and disagree. And I might learn something if I listen to you or if I listen to David or Laurent. And so we don't get that if we want to shut our minds and just hate somebody and want to kill them. So I am disgusted that we see these violent protests. Leadership says you should be saying, that's wrong. We deserve to disagree.
Right.
We need to disagree. It's healthy. But come on, let's go break bread afterwards. Let's play some sports.
Yeah.
So we're not violent.
Not at all.
We've martial artists at the highest level, punks and mediocre clowns. Yeah, they may be violent, but a real martial artist is never violent. Will never start a fight, but he'll end one.
That is true.
If necessary.
That is very true. Another question I want to ask is about sparring. I noticed that you guys, looking at the different movies that you did with Bruce Lee, co-starred in, and obviously just being a martial artist, what is your take on sparring? Does it really help you out when it comes to the real deal?
Absolutely. Bruce and I used to argue. We disagreed about this quite a bit. Bruce didn't believe in point sparring. I said, Bruce, there would be no Bob Wall or Chuck Norris and a lot of other famous martial artists without point sparring because I was a little skinny, scared of the dark coward, little bedwetting 93-pounder. I wouldn't have the guts to start boxing. I didn't want to get hit. I was against pain. Now I'm a real friend to pain.
Right.
I've never taken an aspirin. My wife thinks I'm ridiculous. And I said, look, I give it pain and I receive it. And I have no problem with it. I have no fear of it. I don't use drugs to mask it. I deal with it. I don't take Novocaine. I don't take aspirin. I don't take anything. I'll have an occasional cocktail because I'm Irish and it's my duty to please that booty. And sometimes that loosens me up to actually put out. But that's another story.
Right.
Reality is that you can't and shouldn't avoid pain and you shouldn't mask it. That's why they call dope dopes because it's only for dopes.
Pretty much. What motivates you?
Motivates me. I love living. I'm a Christian man. I like living a Christian life. I like being a moral person. but I also really enjoy beating people up.
Right.
So I have to fight against that urge sometimes. But I'm blessed. I look back on my life and I think I got to teach 3 presidents in the White House. And I think that's astounding. And just to meet a president, much less I got to teach Elvis, Jack Palance, Brian Keith, Paul Newman, Elkie Summers, Steve McQueen, Freddie Prinze, and on and on and on and on and on. And work with the great late Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, the incomparable. I've had a life that's only been exposed to me because of my martial arts training. Meeting Fredia Gibbs, watching her knock out Valerie Hennon with only 8 pro fights. I'm still going, wow, that's amazing. So I get to meet amazing people because of my martial arts training.
And I feel the same way. I get an opportunity to really meet some amazing people. And I just want the world to know that, I want them to know that martial artists, we really are amazing people. We learn discipline in the ring. We also especially learn discipline and respect outside of the ring. And we believe in sportsmanship. That's very, very important. Very,
Absolutely.
very important.
Win by the rules. And you hit on the key word. What we're taught from day one is respect. And it goes back to we give respect, and then you get it for yourself because you know what it took to get where you are. I mean, all your titles, all your victories gave you respect for self.
Right.
And now it's taken you maybe to another level in your career. Respect of self. It's very important to respect your neighbor, respect your others, respect their right to be stupid and wrong. That's what I tell people. If you respect my right to be stupid and wrong politically or religiously or on any other subject, I'm going to respect your right to be stupid and wrong too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's stupid and wrong as long as we respect it. So the core is respect.
Exactly. Respect is very important. How'd you meet your wife?
Was lucky because I was running a Whiskey A Go-Go and I was a bit of a whore, as male heterosexuals tend to be. And I actually, there were so many 10s coming in and out there, I didn't look at 9s. And but I was living in North Hollywood at the time, and I was making a lot of money, a lot of cash, driving, and I thought, well, this is not too smart. I'm getting off at 2, 3 a.m. And so I thought, I'll just get a bank close to the Whiskey A Go-Go. So I walked into the bank she worked at. I didn't know that she'd been hired for her twirl factor. Remember I told you I dated tall blondes with big tits?
Right.
And every other ethnicity on the planet, trust me. But tall with big tits. I don't know what the connection was, but there was something there. Anyway, I see her. I'm not interested. I'm just totally burned out on women. There's just too many of them. And so I go in to open an account. I don't know, it's a scammer's bank. And she starts giving me a ration of malarkey because I was 24 and I never had a checking account. I only had savings. But I walk in with 60 grand. And we're talking, in the 60s. I thought it was a lot of money. I thought I was going to buy the bank.
Right.
And she's giving me this harassment because you never had a checking account. Anyway, bottom line is she writes, worst person I meet all year. And I don't even notice her because her hair was up.
Right.
And she didn't have a tight sweater on and sitting down. And I couldn't see the assets. And it was probably 6 or 8 months later, I went in with a friend of mine who couldn't get a date in a whorehouse with a fistful of 50s. And he says, oh, my God, that girl's hot. And when you want her, I'll get her. And I walk over and I sit down. And because I think I can get any woman on the planet, right? And I
all men do.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, we're a God special treat, and we're going to let you share us. So I walk over and I think, I got to talk to her for a little while. It's okay. I'll open up a checking account. I don't need one. And so I tell her, I said, you're a big improvement over that B that used to be here last time. And she goes, the B? Let me see that. And, that's a word that ends with H. And she looks and she says, well, I was that B. And I go, oh, foot out of mouth. I was embarrassed. And anyway, she had her hair down and a tight sweater. And I'm seeing the assets. I'm going, oh, boy. So anyway, I get her number. And then I wait a couple of weeks and I asked my friend, did you call her? And he said, oh, she wouldn't go out with me. And so I said, well, you don't call her, I'm calling her because I just broke up with my girlfriend. And we took one date and it was over.
That's it. That's all it takes.
That's done.
How long did it take for that one date?
Well, first of all, she turned me down, like all smart women. And so I had to ask for a second date. But anyway, we went on a first date. And I remember taking this little dwarf, she's 5'2", and I took her to a steakhouse. And she orders the biggest steak. Now, I'm a small eater. And I'm talking, blah, 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 blah. She says my middle name should be Shut the, what up. But anyway, I'm talking blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I look over and her plate's slick. She had this big-ass steak. And I'm going, oh, the poor little thing. Probably cut that up in pieces and put it in to her family. She's probably so poor. Later, I find out this girl can out-eat me to this day, I mean, 3 plates of pasta, I'm one. You know, giant steak, I'm a little one. You know,
Right.
she does, and I'm going, how do you do it, baby? But anyway, she's just amazing. She's a godly woman. She loved her mother and father, and that's when I found out about if you want a great mate, if they hate their mother and father, run. Mm-hmm. Run.
Yeah.
Don't walk.
Yeah.
But if they love one parent, or if they have some religious belief, you know, and it's nice when they believe in God. So I got a godly Catholic woman. I'm Irish Catholic. No, I'm not a big Catholic fan personally, but because I don't like that moving the pedophile priests around. But regardless, she loves everybody.
Yeah.
And she's smart. And now she makes more money than I do.
Yeah, smart,
I trained her.
Smart woman like a smart man.
She's a BAB.
What does BAB stand for?
Badass
Again?
bitch.
Say it one more time.
Badass bitch.
One more time.
Badass bitch.
Who
I
a
love 'em.
badass bitch? Yeah.
I'm laying on my back for a badass bitch anytime I can find one.
I wanted to ask you, out of the 3 movies that you co-starred in with Bruce Lee, which one was your favorite one, and which one was the longest one you guys trained and prepared for?
Well, we were always training, so we never really had to prepare for the movie.
Gotcha.
And Bruce was a genius. I think history proves that 43 years after Into the Dragon, nobody's even come close to creating a movie like that. So you had the great Lalo Schifrin, the great Freddie Prinze as a producer, Bruce Lee, Anna Capri, George Saxon, Jim Kelly, who I hired for the movie. They all knocked the ball out of the park. And so the reality is that my favorite is Enter the Dragon because it was the first one with a decent budget, $850,000, which was $600,000 higher.
Is that a
than
lot
the
of
one.
money? You know,
In those
during
days, yeah.
those days.
Way of the Dragon was $250, and all the previous films were less than that. And so, yeah, it was the first one, real production, and really thanks to Freddie Weintraub and his belief in Bruce Lee.
Let's see the one with Jim Kelly and those guys. That video with Jim Kelly and Bob Wall. You want to get that on YouTube?
You know, I have a bunch of pictures with Jim Kelly and I. I love Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, I think, hit a home run. But it's a funny story about that because Steve Muhammad, whom I loved and adored, he's one of the great martial artists and great fighters, used to win the internationals all the time, and Wesley's instructor. And I wanted him in the movie. But Bruce called me, and there was another brother that had the part, and he got sick, and he said, you got to find me a tall, good-looking, well-built brother with a martial artist and an actor. So right away I go, Jim Kelly. I called Jim. Yep, I want to do it.
Good looking.
I don't know that Jim doesn't like Steve. And I set the scene where
really?
Jim has to walk into the school and pretend that Steve is his instructor in the movie. And I don't know that Jim had opened up a school close to Steve, so they didn't like each other. So Jim Kelly calls me and says, I'm not doing that with him. And, well, you're going to do it or you're out of the movie. What do you mean? I want Steve in the movie. And I want you in the movie, but you got to do it. So you can do it or I'll get somebody else. Okay. But I laughed. But after that, Jim Kelly nailed the part. I think he did so much for brothers and sisters in that era.
He did.
It was a perfect part of racist cops, you know, a tough brother, even down to when he's about to die. So I'm going to be looking so good, I'm not even going to notice. He just nailed that part. I think he was the whole thing. John Saxon, Anna Capri, Bruce, hopefully me. We all just came together and created magic in that film.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Absolutely. That was a great movie. And Jim Kelly did open up some amazing doors, you know, for African American and martial arts. Another question that I wanted to ask you. You said that Bruce was a genius. Obviously, you're a genius. You said that you were a genius at making money. How'd that all come about? You said you left home with $1.34 and your bike, and today, how did all this?
Well, it's like anything else. Is how does Fredia Gibbs become world champion? You got to set goals, and maybe you change them and improve them and advance them, but you got to build towards something. And you don't become a Fredia Gibbs without a David Crepes. You don't become a David Crepes without a Simon Kayavalu or his instructor, the greatest probably kickboxer of all time, his partner. Saxon Janjura. And so we all stand on the shoulders of our seniors, of our superiors. And we give respect down and we give respect up.
Absolutely.
And therefore we get respect. So how did I make it? I made it because it was serious to me. I figured out early on, I said, what's the difference between rich and poor people? Most people don't know. But poor people think poor, rich people think rich.
That's true.
Rich people will do the things poor people will never do. But what is poor? Poor is really, an attitude. It's really an attitude.
It is, and a mindset.
It's a mindset without a doubt. So you change poor to positive, to I want it, to I'm setting a goal, and you change your poor attitude into a positive attitude, and then you set goals, and then you become a Fredia Gibbs, then you become a David Crapes, you become a Chuck Norris. So that's what I did. I said rich or poor, and then I said, you know what, poor is a bad word. Broke is the proper word. So I changed my poor to broke. And then I listened to Mike Todd in 1958 on the radio one day, and it was a really crummy interview, I thought. They said, our next guy, Mike Todd created Around the World in 80 Days. And he was married to the world's most beautiful woman at that time, Elizabeth Taylor, supposedly.
Oh, yeah, she was one of them.
And
she was top.
They said, our next guest is short, balding, Jewish, multimillionaire, married to the world's most beautiful woman. I thought, man, I'd knock him out. That's a crummy interview. You're short, balding, wealthy, married to the most beautiful woman. And anyway, he came on. He was very cool. And he was actually a tough guy. But he didn't play tough. And they said, Mike Todd, he said, how did you become Mike Todd? Answer to your question. Because he gave this gift to me. He said, I simply decided broke is temporary. Poor is a state of mind. If you think poor, change your thinking. Change it to, I'm broke. That's temporary. Every rich person on earth has been broke sometime. Everybody worth a dime has been broke sometime. So once you realize broke is temporary and you can change it, you go to the mirror and you look in there and say, face, make me some money. What do I have to do? Okay, I'm working 8 hours a day. I'll work 20 hours a day. Okay, I got one job. I'll get two. I'll get three. And that's what I did. I got 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I worked 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day. I've been up going right now 21 hours.
21 hours?
Yeah, I don't sleep a lot. But I work easy. I work smart. I don't work hard anymore. I worked hard my whole life. I used to train hard, bang, 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 doubles, 7 days a week, And one day I said, you know what? I got to change this. I got to work smarter. I'm going to train smarter. I'm going to train with better people. David Crapes type people, Saxon Jandiras type people, Fredia Gibbs type. I'm going to go to the best people, and they can give it to me quicker.
That's it. That's the way I think, too. That's the key.
We men learn liquor quicker.
Yeah, and us women learn liquor and quicker, too.
That makes you smart.
But I did want to ask you, have you ever had a street fight, being a celebrity, people knowing that you are Bob Wall, knowing that you can knock a fool out, tie him out, choke him out, and twist the arm or something like that? Have you ever been tested while you were out in the world? Lots
of times.
How did you react to that? How did you handle it?
Well, I just enjoy. I'm Irish, and I enjoy drinking, fighting, and the other word with that. And I like beating people up. But personally, I have never hit a friend. I have never hit anybody first. I have never started a fight. But there are a lot of fools out there, as we all know.
This is true.
And so I actually had to learn. But I like to field test. That's why I got hands that look like my hands. Because there are a lot of fools out there. And in the old days, they used to come in our school. It was foolish. And so we'd get to lock the door and hurt them. But then I found out outside there were a lot of fools. And I'd see somebody trying to rape a woman or beat up a little kid or anything like that. And I would just make it my issue and go over and I that's why they call me Reverend Robert.
Right.
I preach to a lot of fools. And so I got to field test my techniques. And I've studied everything. There isn't any martial art I haven't studied in 60 years. And so I got to field test what works and what doesn't work. So yes, I had a lot of situations. But then one day I realized 20 years ago, my wife's going to divorce me because I'm becoming like a vampire. I'm looking for clowns and fools.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I beat them up, 5 a week, 10 a week, whatever. If they were there, I did them. And in fact, I hired David Crapes to work for me one day to save fools from me. And the very first day I said, David, I'm tired of beating these fools up. Okay, you got to do it. So very first day, we have a person that comes in. It's not allowed on our building. And we have a lot of shopping centers and office buildings and stuff.
Right.
So this is one of our elegant shopping centers in Tarzana, Wall Street Plaza. And so very first day, this big dude comes up, and he's going around selling in the building. We don't allow it. And David goes, and I walk out there. I'm watching David. I just want to see how he's going to handle it. Because he'd been teaching the gladiators, right? And so... And I'm thinking, yeah, short, fat, little Mexican, Hawaiian-looking guy. He doesn't look tough. So he walks up to this big dude, and he says, I'm sorry, sir, you can't be here selling the building. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? He says, well, the way it's going to work is you can walk down the stairs or you can roll down the stairs. Now, it's really your decision. Which would you like to do? And he goes, "Gunk, gunk," with his finger in his chest, and he goes, "I think I'll walk down." And I went, all right, he's going to save a lot of fools. And he did. For 8 years, he saved a lot of fools for
David,
me.
you did that. Let me see some action, please. I want to see some action. Okay, it's a sports show. We want action. Always action. I know exactly what you mean, because me being a martial artist, I have never, ever started a fight. Never, ever. And I don't know what it is. When people know that you're a martial artist, know that you can take them out. I've experienced that out in the world. And I tend to walk away until they continue following me. And then I have no other choice. And when I fear for my well-being, I have to protect myself.
Of course you do.
My question, what's your definition of self-defense?
Well, self-defense appropriately should be passive resistance, meaning you should follow the Chuck Norris preamble, which is to try to discuss it reasonably, let them know you're afraid and I just don't want to have a problem and please don't hurt me. And I go the other way to the wimp side now after taking anger management 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but
it's better.
I try, so self-defense, in my opinion, is passive resistance. But I don't let them get close to me. I let them know I'm on them. I am honed in. And then we get to a point where I let them know that I actually am a vampire and I want to drink your blood. And I'm going to hurt you real bad. If you want to go to the hospital, let me know.
Rattlesnake?
Rattlesnake, rattle. Rattle, rattle, rattle.
Rattlesnake, huh?
And I don't let them even get anywhere near close to me. Like I said, I got these freaky long 6'6" arms. And so a lot of times I'll just put my arm out and I say, you know, I really am dying to hurt you real bad. And it's your call. If you want that, let's do it. So then I moved to the second level of passive resistance, which is rattlesnake warning. And then after that, you start, I'll finish. Exactly what I told Steven Seagal when I stood at his little footy and jammed my forehead into his face. I said, Steve, you start, I'll finish.
That's right.
I don't want to fight you. I don't blame you. Because that would be a nightmare.
Oh, it would be. And what's one of your signature moves?
Well, for me, my first rule is me no get hurt.
That's right.
Me put pain on you. So I use distance. I use angles and footwork. And I like slap blocks, you know. So when they reach their hand out, you know, it's just like this. They don't want to punch you if you just do a little slap block.
Right, yeah.
And I can break their arm.
Yeah.
But I give them this little taste.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll slap the elbow. And so I like slapping. I'm really into slapping.
I like that.
And you're dangerous. I must be stupid.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't say, there goes Smart Bob. You're hitting Fredia Gibbs. She can knock you out.
That hurt.
It does.
Yeah, that really did hurt.
They don't really want to hit me twice. So I give them little, that's my signature moves, to put pain on them. So it's like, bad idea. But the worst part of this is I want to hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm Gene LaBelle's oldest living black belt from 1959. And you just got to ask him, the world's toughest man by far. Who's your most sadistic black belt? I'm a sadist. I have to fight against it, but I like hurting people.
Because
but
you know
they have
how
to be a jerk.
But they have to start it. They have to start it.
They have to
You
start
know
it.
how to. Once they start it, they're in trouble.
I'm going, I'm walking, I'm talking.
They in trouble. Still today, you the same way, Bob?
I'm the same way today.
Same way? I like that kill instinct. I like that without a doubt. Now, you had mentioned Gene LaBelle. How long you guys been together? You, Gene LaBelle, Chuck Norris? What's that experience?
Well, Gene LaBelle was I made black belt with him in 59. I made black belt with Chuck Norris in 65. So there was a gap, but I met Chuck in 64. So I've been knowing Gene a long time. You know, a world heavyweight wrestling champion, two-time national judo champion. Did the first MMA, put out Milo Savage, number 3 rated light heavyweight in 62 in the first MMA fight, professional. Because that fool made a mistake. Because you were not even born then, but in the 50s and the 60s, the only way you made money in martial arts was teaching classes. And in those days, it was the priestly era, where if you're a real good martial artist, you didn't charge. Well, I came along and said, that sounds foolish. I like to get paid. If I'm a hooker, I want to get paid.
Right.
Why should I do it for free? So, but at any rate, he beat up a few so-called black belts who weren't in bars and stuff. And so he put out an offer, $5,000 to any martial artist who would fight him in the ring, full contact. And Gene would kill his grandmother for $100. So you can imagine what he did to him. And so they owned the Olympic Auditorium, he and his mom, Eileen Eaton, world's boxing.
They owned the Olympic Auditorium.
Oh, yeah, Gene LaBelle and Eileen Eaton.
Okay.
And his brother Mike.
I fought there.
Did you really?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
well, that was our mecca.
Yeah, before they sold it.
Did you box or did you?
No,
kickbox?
I kickbox.
You kickbox.
Yeah, you know I got to use my hands and feet.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you. So, what do you think is best, mixed martial arts or karate? And do you think Bruce Lee, you would fit in today in the mixed martial art world?
Oh yeah, I love this MMA. With everything in life, there are strengths and weaknesses. But I love traditional martial arts because it prepares people to go to the next level, just like you. Traditional martial artist, and then you start into kickboxing, and then you get into MMA. And for me, it's a graduation.
Right.
I love MMA because they put the reality in martial arts. And a lot of the karate systems, Kung Fu, any of them, they have weaknesses. I remember that I was trained, keep your chin up so you can get knocked out. And definitely don't throw a jab to protect your chin. You know, it was all stupid stuff, you know. But it was timely at the time because you didn't have a clue, you know, and they were believing that one punch would kill somebody and all that malarkey, which you find out quickly in the street isn't working. So I'm a lover of traditional martial arts. I think it's very important because it teaches you respect. Now, one of the mistakes of MMA is that a lot of them don't study traditional martial arts, so they come in without respect. And that's a big missing element. You need to respect no drugs.
That's very
A lot of MMAs make that mistake today. And you need to respect that there are traditional martial arts that work. Like, you know, I have one of the most vicious spinning back kicks of all time. I can drop a bomb with it. I taught one of my black belts, Dennis Alexio, who became the world's best heavyweight kickboxer.
Dennis.
Dennis
Oh, yeah.
Dennis was my black belt, retired 60-1. And I met him on his 16th fight. He just lost his only fight to Don Wilson. And I said, Dennis, you went to Don's town. You're fighting with low kick. And
Dennis lost to Don?
He lost to Don. Because Don's a clever dude. When he saw Dennis Alexio coming up, you get him over. Get him now while he's 5-0.
Two pretty boys fighting.
Pretty boys fighting. Well, they went to Florida, and they fought his first leg kick. Well, the leg kick rules were you had to get 8 kicks around. So we fight. You beat the hell out of me, but I get in 8 kicks, and you only get in 7. You lose, and he's looking around saying, "What the hell? She won." So it's stupid rules.
I know.
But Dennis didn't get in his 8 kicks certain rounds, and he lost the fight.
That's not fair.
No. But that's why I don't like PKA style karate. To me, it was I call it a certain name, but let's call it weenie karate for the show. But come on, in the street, somebody's going to kick your leg. They're going to do whatever they do. They're going to pull a knife on you. They're going to do what they do. So, but at any rate, I got him. I said, Dennis, I watched his first pro fight, and he was just throwing round kick, round kick, round kick, round kick. He'd beat people to death, but he'd go 10, 12 rounds. I said, have you heard of a straight punch, a straight kick, a front kick, a side kick? I got a side kick from hell. I can side kick you from an elbow distance away at 77. I can side kick you in a phone booth and break your ribs. So I taught him how to side kick. I taught him spinning back kick. Well, pretty soon he's knocking people over the ropes. So, but the reality is that was my gift to Dennis. He was a black belt at one of my black belts who went to prison for murder, 5 people.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but Dennis missed one element. He was a fabulous fighter, but not a moral man.
Got you.
And not a person of good character. And I love Dennis's skill. My wife didn't like him at all, but I finally realized after a while, because my wife is a woman of character and morals, she likes people of morals and character. People like David Crapes and Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and Fredia.
Right. So listen, we got to continue. We definitely want to get you back on the show. We definitely want to get Don and Wilson on the show, and we definitely want to bring Chuck Norris on the show. But this is what I want to say here. This is what I want to say. My book here. You want to show that clip on the book? Yeah, this is a great customer review for my book. It got 5 stars. You want to read that, Big Ed?
This book is not easy to read and relatable. Once I started reading it, I couldn't stop. When she talked about where she got her strength, her tenacity, and her vigor from, I knew this was a real talk. This was a real talk because I grew up with her. This is a book about a black girl who made it out of the projects with pure will. She was willing to be the best so she can get out of what she was in.
So she set out.
So she set out.
To get it.
To get it. And she succeeded. She and her story is a blessing to all.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Dare to be great. a must by Gregory Towns. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed my story.
Yeah, so you let me know. Let me know when you switch that back. So that's a must read. They said, thank you very much, customer. Gregory Towns. I really, really appreciate that. My book is on Amazon. You want to show that? It's on Amazon right now, and I got hard copies, paperback, as well as the you can get it on Kindle. So it's the Fredia Gibbs story, Meet the Most Dangerous Woman in the World. Definitely check that out. And don't forget, October 22nd, you guys, you first 100, you get your book for free as well. Okay, so what I want to do is say thank you to all of the champs. Thank you, Bob, for coming on the show. Thank you, David, for coming on the show. I want to thank my team for coming and helping me out. Thanks to my sponsors, RMC Studio, Ajiri, DJ from State Farms, Janjir Fitness, Bob. You know, if you miss any of round 6, you're more than welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel, World of Sports with the Cheetah, and watch what you miss. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Again, thanks for tuning in. And, you know, I'll see you next week. We have a special celebrity guest, and we're going to keep that quiet. In the meantime, until then, keep God first in your life. Very, very important. Make sure you surround yourself, you know, around positive people. What you think about that, Bob? And, you know, and then you'll win. What you think about that?
I love that. Yeah, it is so right on. That's a bullseye. Mm-hmm. And thank you for that blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I'm so happy that you came. This really means a lot to me. You know, this is a childhood dream. To actually be sitting here. I got my martial art instructor, Rick Berry. He's watching, and, you know, my martial arts school back in Philadelphia, and they still can't believe that I'm actually here with, you know, the Bob Wall, the legend, the martial art legend.
Well, we're even, because I can't believe I'm here with the Fredia Gibbs, the world's most dangerous woman.
They better recognize, because guess what? We got some good stuff rolling up in 2017, you dig? Y'all better look out, because here come the documentary. Roof, roof. Play some music, champ. Thank you very much. We out of here.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
We the best music. Major key. DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Fredia Cheetah Gibbs, 3-time world kickboxing champion, known as the most dangerous woman in the world. Wow! Yes, today is boxing legend Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter. She should be on the phone. Are you there, Christy?
What's happening, Cheetah?
What's going on, baby girl? Welcome to the Cheetah's Den. First female boxer signed with promoter Don King. And you are the one who actually put women's boxing on the map here in America. How do you feel about that being number one, Christy?
You know, I guess the good thing is always to be the first, no matter what comes along after you. But the thing is, and you know this better than anybody, when I was out there doing my thing, I just tried to fit into the boxing world, just tried to put on a heck of a show for the fans each and every time out.
Bringing awareness to domestic violence. How did this all come about? Would you share that with us?
Well, a lot of people in the boxing world maybe remember that almost 6 years ago now, I was shot and stabbed, left for dead by my now ex-husband.
Bonnie is retired WBE middle lightweight world champion. They call her Bonnie the Queen Bee Man. Welcome, Bonnie, to the studio in Los Angeles. How you doing today, champ?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. Bonnie, I do want to say this here. I was reading up on your information. Obviously, you're a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. You've served our country by encouraging others to, you know, stay healthy and be motivated. And I just want to say thank you for serving our country.
Well, you're certainly welcome, and I just want to say thank you to all the other veterans that are out there and the ones that are currently serving, because without them, you know, we don't have the freedoms that we have today. So.
My name is Tyler Lepley. I play Jackson Howley in the movie Ringside, and you're watching World of Sports with Cheetah. Hey, I'm Russ Barr, writer and director of Ringside, and hey, you're watching World of Sports with Cheetah.
went to the foster homes. You started going through these backyard brawls, fighting dudes 150 pounds heavier than you. What's up with that, champ? Now you're in organized fighting. How'd this all happen?
Just anger, young kid, angry, and then the fight things behind that was after school. We would just, hook it up. People fight who I wanted to fight. So I put myself in there from time to time, fighting like bigger guys, because guys my height was like not really fair.
Is Bridget Baby Doll Riley. She's on the telephone with us today. Baby Doll, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Cheetah?
I can hear you. Welcome to the World of Sports with Cheetah. My pleasure. I'm so excited to hear from you.
5-time kickboxing world champion, IFBA boxing world champion, Black Belt Magazine. In 1998, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Was that for martial arts, Baby Doll?
It was.
Let's talk about your acting career on Star Trek. I just want to talk about that just briefly here, because you've done some amazing things. You made the transition from kickboxing, then of course, 5-time kickboxing champion. Then you became boxing champion. But let's jump on this here. The Star Trek thing and the makeup. How long does it usually take these guys to put all that makeup on?
Well, that was a trip, and that was a stunt gig. It literally took 6 hours. I would sit in that chair. And, you're tired because they would pick me up at 1:45 in the morning, and then we'd have to go to the location because my segment of the movie, we shot in Vancouver.
Ready to square off with Vincent? How are you feeling mentally and physically right now?
Like a champ right now.
Like a champ?
Physically tough, healthy, training's going well. Right now, feeling like a champ.
So how's your striking skills?
They're okay. I specialize in wrestling and grappling, but of course it's MMA, so you have to train everything. But it's not on par with my grappling.
To the World of Sports with Cheetah. We're here live at LA Live with the 3-on-3 Nike basketball tournament. You are?
Nice. I'm Erin Coscarelli with the NFL Network.
Okay, and you plan on doing what tonight, baby girl?
Dominating. Domination. Pure domination. Dominating.
You heard that?
I'm going to try. I'll be honest. I'm going to just try not to break my nose or fall on my face or do something embarrassing.
Just shoot some three-pointers.
Yeah, you think so? I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
The World of Sports with the Cheetah is the only thing I pay any attention to. And I tried to pay attention to all the other stuff, but she's the only one who knows what's going on.
Big shout out from Kenny Dobbs, International Slam Dunk Champion, the World of Sports. Got my girl Cheetah on the mic, holding it down for us out here at the Celebrity Game for ESPN, man. Check it out.
Sports with Cheetah, it's your boy Kareem Rush. We're going to have a good time tonight. I'm going to go out here and score 50.
I'm Thomas Scott. You're watching World of Sports with Cheetah. Shout out to
It's war and peace is more than beef. Must uphold the code we swore to keep. It's life and death, it's blood and sweat. We fight for love and respect. It's man to man, it's hand to hand. You make your fist, you take your stand. Prepared to throw down whenever it go down. Under pressure, don't fold, man, hold your ground. You got your pride and I got mine. It's all out war when you cross that line. I'm from LA.